speaker towards the end of the session. Before we begin, please allow me to introduce our speaker, the incomparable Dr. PREMA NAIR. Now, Dr. PREMA, Dr. PREMA, as she's very fondly known, is a senior lecturer in the Institute of Teacher Education, International Languages Campus in Kuala Lumpur, IPGK BA. With close to 30 years of teaching experiences from a myriad areas of expertise, she possesses a strong belief in excellence that pretty much sums up her journey through life as an educator. This inspires her to teach, develop young and impressionable minds, and mentor our future teachers. Now, please help me in welcoming Dr. PREMA NAIR to the stage with her presentation, very aptly titled Effective Assessment for Productive Teaching and Learning. Dr. PREMA, stage is all yours.
Thank you very much to the moderator, and good evening, everyone. She did say she will spice up my bio. I say, okay, as long as the truth, nothing but the truth. Okay. And I know you all look very tired. I'll try my level best not to bore you, okay? All right, so the title, Effective Assessment for Productive Teaching and Learning, okay? I will not be the right person to talk about effective assessment for productive teaching and learning because you at the ground would be the best person to know the answer, okay? But anyhow, let me start by telling us a short story about my life. Okay? You can assess me after that. My first language when I grew up at home was not English. Okay? Neither was my mother tongue. Okay? The first language that I was introduced to was Bahasa Melayu. Okay? So I'm very fluent in that language. And somehow, it's a long story how that became my first language, all right? And then my mother, she was the one who tried her level best to teach me the language, all right? I remember, before coming up the stage, I was thinking of one event to share with you. I remember the day, okay? We come from the middle class family, all right? So my mother would be cooking, and she forced me to sit on the chair and forced me to memorize numbers. She would say 1, 2, 3. I did memorize 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beyond that, I could not remember. And she will take the cane and hit me. 11, 12. Those two numbers was very difficult for me to remember. After that, it was easy. 13. 14, 15, 16. You know, T-E-N, for me, is T-I-N, teen. 17, 18, 19, 2-teen. Okay, that's how I learned the language. All right? So, at a very young age, I was being assessed by my mom. So, assessment, in a nutshell, does not begin in the classroom. It did begin at home, right, for me. It started way back then. And then when I went to school, that's when the real horror started to creep into my mind, you know, with the strict teachers. In those days, English teachers were very, very strict. You know, they were the Lady Hitler. I had all lady teachers, by the way. And they will really, you know, take the cane and hit you if you do not know the answer. But in the 21st century, things are very different, okay? I took this cartoon. It's available in the YouTube. If you look at this, the joy of learning, way back during my time, it was scary. You learn because you were afraid of the teacher. Today, okay, you don't learn because the teacher is afraid of you. Okay? It's the other way around. Okay? We have the MQA, all right? I'm now excited playing with this toy. No, nothing is appearing because the screen is white, maybe. Okay, all right. Oh yeah, I can see it up here. You can see the MQA, the auditors and all that will come to the school and check. Okay, in your case, In schools, you have who? Nazir, SISC plus? No, right? They come to help you, right? Okay, so they will say, okay, no biggie, but if he misses problem 9, we'll pull your accreditation and you will be in shame on your community. Okay, and you will have the Guru Besar being pressured, and the Guru Besar will pressure the teacher, and teacher obviously will pressure the poor boy. Okay, say, relax, relax, you know the answer, right? I have drilled you for many months now. Come on, that's the answer. You know the answer. Please answer correctly. All right? So this is what's happening. All right? So when we come to assessment, we have this washback effect. Okay? Tests are said to force teachers to do things they don't want to do. I think we have come a long way. All right? Where we actually were required to test our students because that's the requirement of the school. That is what PPD wants. That's what the Ministry of Education wants. Okay, we want you to produce, okay? We want a very good outcome, all right? So to force teachers to do things they don't want to do, that's where the joy of teaching and learning died, right? Okay, I'm not saying for the sake of saying, I hope you agree with what I'm saying, okay? Because I have taught in primary and secondary school. At that point of time, what I wanted to do was to just achieve that goal, all right? The students in my class should not fail. Do whatever it takes, all right? And when I had a Form 3 class, okay, with the last class where students were not able to read and write in English, I make them memorize because of the Form 3 exam, okay? Especially when it comes to literature. I made them memorize, this is the character for The Return, K.S. Maniam. This is the main character, Raju, if I'm not mistaken. These are the characteristics, memorize, these may come for the final exam. And it did. Okay. The students could have passed or failed, I can't remember, but did they learn anything? Something to think about, right? And principals, of course, use tests to drive teachers to teach, and teachers use tests to force students to study. Okay. Testing, quite scary, right? And we have all these summative examination coming in, okay, final examination that would label, categorize the schools accordingly. All right, so this is what's said by Stiggins, all right, and Kunlin in 1992, all right. So sometimes you also do tests to impose discipline on the students, okay. So here, tests initially designed to provide information on achievement or to select suitable candidates for jobs have become devices for controlling and manipulating education system. Okay? So who created that? Okay? So quite often when I teach my student teachers, we have one subject on curriculum studies. All right? I always tell them, Malaysia has the best curriculum in Asia. We have very good curriculum, but it's the implementation, how we perceive the curriculum, how we unpack the curriculum will be different from one person to another. Okay? All right. Ruminate over this. Okay. Assessment does not objectively measure what is already there, but rather creates and shapes what is measured. Okay. How many times have I looked upon the scores of the students and labeled the students? Okay. I have 2 best students in my class. So in my mind, they will be the best of the best of the best. If I want to make my students take part in the competition, any competition, let's say English debates, they will be the first 2 that I will select. Why? Because of their scores. They are good. Okay. What happens if there are students who keep on failing in my class? So what is my perception towards them? Do you think I will take them? Will they be the chosen one for any competition? No, right? So this is the perception that is in my mind. All right, and I'm sure many of you have that perception. All right, measurement. When you look at assessment, okay, I think I'm guilty of it as well. Quite often I take assessment as something, the ultimate. All right, that labels that person as such, failing to realize after reading books of assessment on evaluation and assessment Then I realized that assessments are supposed to be used by teachers to help the students, to assist the students, not to label them, not to judge them. Okay? And you all are there sitting and judging me at the moment. Am I right? Okay, that smile, okay? You are judging me. Evaluation happens everywhere, anywhere, okay? In your mind, you definitely will be evaluating, all right? All right, by right, the point here is that assessment should be used to create and shape what is measured. Okay? If they do not perform well, what else can I do? Okay? So the answer to that question, you will see tomorrow during all this presentation. I did have a look at the topics that is scheduled there. All the answers are there. If you can see, many teachers are going to present, talk about various types of assessment and best practices, something for everybody to learn from them. Okay? A very favorite cartoon that I like to use in the classroom. Okay? I taught Stripe how to whistle. Okay? And I don't hear him whistling, that's what the friend said. I said I taught him, I didn't say he learned it. And quite often, we teach and teach and teach, all right? And the bell rings, thank God it's over. But we fail to make sure that our students have learned what we have taught them, all right? I can give example from teacher trainee perspective because I'm teaching them at the moment, all right? A new trend after lockdown, they changed. Before lockdown, they seems to be good. But after lockdown, the trend from last year till now, what we could see, almost most of us, okay, in my IPG, the fact that they do not teach. Okay? They have wonderful set induction. Okay? Hangman is your favorite game, or any other games, they like to use hangman. Okay? And after that, straight worksheet. Okay? And then students will be answering, and then they will end up giving the answers. After that, straight practice. Okay? Give another worksheet. After that, production. Okay, now you create something. Production is meant for the students to create something. And I asked them, when did you teach? The second stage. Which one is that? I gave them the worksheet, and they could answer all the questions that was given. But when did you teach? Okay. That is happening now. Okay? So much so, who are we blaming? They were bogged down with the fact that they think 21st century technology must come in. So they use technology at the beginning of the lesson. The technology comes in somewhere after that. Technology comes in later for the students to do something, and in the end, the students will present in the production stage. All right? So they feel that the more I use technology, the better I become. Okay? So this is what they're thinking at the moment. And they fail to see the teaching part. All right? Okay. Those were the days. My era will be this one, the old measurement. Okay? The tests, okay? I don't know the number of tests that I've set. You can count for you, for yourself, right? All these tests, from beginning day one, priority will be the scores. Okay? I remember my father, twice a year, the part where I'll be very anxious and scared will be midterm, final exam. Why? Report card. Okay? Report card. I have hidden my report card many times. I'm not an excellent student. Okay? I'm not the student that scores all A's. Okay? I had my B's and C's and D's. A rarely. Okay? I have failed once, right? Because I had chicken pox. Right? I didn't do well. So 31 out of 40. You know, you have in the class, number of students, 31, you'll be labeled as you are number 31 out of 40, and then the whole class, you'll be maybe 100 something, okay, out of 200, okay? So the scores plays important role at that time, and still does, today, okay? Any one of you who tell me that scores does not matter? Anyone here? What about your aptis? The C1, C2? Okay, up till date, today, we were forced to sit for CPT exam, remember? CPT, all right? Until today, I'm still questioning myself. You know what was my result? CPT, not 90, not 92, 94, 96, not 100, 88. I got 88. Then everybody who got 90 and above received 5,000? 5,000? And I was sitting there, I lost 2 marks. Why didn't I get that extra 2 marks? What happened? Until today, I'm labeled as C1. So I envy those who got C2, all right? And then there were few, only few, all right, of them. And they were like, oh, C2, wow. And I was like, okay, C1. Okay. Until today, I'm not called to do the what do you call that? The expert, yeah, to do the exam, right? In IPGs, you have a group of lecturers who, with their C2, they will train the others, okay? So I'm not one of them, okay? So you can imagine how it is. I'm still demotivated, okay? Still, okay? Don't ask me to sit for APTIS. Okay, the new measurement. Those were the days scores, right? But today, it goes beyond that. Look at all this. You want the student to collaborate, teamwork, attitude, behavior, soft skills. All these are assessed. So what happened to me when I was young? All these were not assessed. So did I not have teamwork within my friends, within my peers? Didn't I have any critical thinking and creative thinking at all during that time? Didn't my teacher, okay, teach me all these skills? Okay. I didn't know what they were teaching me at that time, but I know they did something right. Okay. It was not spelled out at that time. But today, we are looking at all these aspects. And even in the lesson plan, you are required to write HOTS. What are the HOTS questions that you have, all right, you're thinking of asking your students? Okay, what would that be? Okay, what about all the 6 C's? Okay, maybe in the future there might be 8 C's, I wouldn't know. Okay, all right. And it comes to such an extent that you only test, okay, teach them topics that will be tested in the examination. Hence, ignoring other questions. If the students wants to know more, read on your own, because this is important. Raju is important. The return is important. Characteristics important. Beyond that, don't ask me. Okay? Don't ask me. All that maybe next time. Okay? Test. Okay? Teach to the test. So points to note here would be, every interaction with students is a potential assessment opportunity. Okay? Even when you're interacting with your students in the class, it is some form of assessment. There will be some form of assessment. When I ask questions to my students, it is a form of assessment. When students are answering, that would be the answer. Okay? If students ask me a question, I am being assessed. Right? Isn't it? Two-way interaction. Okay? And students should be included as judgment makers, involving them in the active monitoring of their own learning. Those days, this did not happen. Okay? They were not involved at all. They were not making judgment. They were forced to listen. Like what you are doing now, listening to me. You're forced to listen. Okay? Some of you are laughing. Right? Am I right? You're forced to listen? None of you are standing up or dancing or, you know? You are just sitting there and listening to me, right? Okay? So this did not happen at that time. Okay? Just bear with me. Where am I going?
And now
listen to
peek
this,
at the
please.
new comedy series, Mr. D.
There goes your weekend, eh, Markin?
Not really. Let me explain how this works. If these were regular tests, what I would do is I would find the smartest students, Maya, and I would mark hers first.
Right.
And I'd use that as my answer key. But these are essay questions. Now, if I were to read these, it would take forever. So I don't. So I look at their mark going into it. Okay, like Maya, where's Maya? Has the highest mark in the class. There she is. So that's my answer key.
Don't you already know the answers?
Sometimes theirs are better. I gotta give her a good mark, a couple circles, and then sometimes too vague,
Right.
That way I don't have to give her 100.
Yeah.
They only look
Keep
at
it
the mark.
realistic.
96. I give her a little more than she has going in. That way she won't come back and
Right.
challenge me. Okay?
It's a good
Come on.
system.
Jimmy, look at Jimmy. Nothing.
Right, it's never nothing.
Garbage. Waste of time. 33, there's some words there, but I have no time to read them. So then I get angry. Jimmy, ridiculous. This
Right.
has got to stop.
He could say the same thing to you.
Okay, you got the system?
Yeah, it's a good system, buddy.
You do those ones.
You want me to mark them?
You don't really mark, you just
All right.
put marks on it, and you put a circle, you circle a
That sounds
number.
good. I'm a forger.
Okay, here's Mike. Now, Mike, he's got a 62.
You should give him an 80.
Give
That'll
him an
make his
80
day.
to make his day.
Right.
Okay? And he goes home, his parents are excited. I like that. Finally.
Like you've been rooting for him the whole time.
Yeah, about
Right.
time. Thank
That's
you.
good.
This person, Shauna, I don't like her. Drives me nuts.
Right.
So what I do is I fail her on the exam, but I just give her enough to pass the course, so I don't have to teach her again. So it's like a lot of check marks, some question marks, underlines of things, couple good comments.
Mediocre.
I haven't used that one. That's a good one. Happy face, smile.
That's disturbing.
You are almost a teacher.
Mr. D, Monday starting January 9th on CBC.
So I came across this YouTube and I thought it was very, very interesting. Okay? And I'm guilty of it. Okay? How many of you are guilty? Okay? Now the problem when it comes to marking, for example, is the fact that we assume a lot of things. I don't want to say we, I assume a lot of things. Okay? Put the blame on me because I did it. Just because that student is my best student, therefore she or he will be the best throughout the semester. Okay? Not realizing that there would be time when he or she would make mistake, may blunder. That means if I keep on giving high scores because of the name of that student is not going to learn anything. Okay? So what would be the one important aspect here that is much lacking? Can anyone guess? Just the scores. The scores are given there, 80 out of 100, 60 out of 100. But what is more important than those scores? It will be the feedback. Okay. How many of us actually give our feedback to our students? Okay. So where I come from, we have to write on each page. Okay. Read the sentence and then comment. Okay, not every sentence. Okay, one paragraph, what is your comment? Excellent, well done, you have elaborated very well. Or something is missing here, but we don't want to say that X factor is missing. I don't know what it is, but something is missing there. Okay, we are good at giving that kind of comment, but it has to be very transparent. Okay, what is wrong with the write-up? So feedback is very, very important. Yeah. So a good assessment. There are many attempts made to define good assessment, all right? So this is something general. A good assessment should be something that is valid, that is definitely true. When you go on for the workshop later on, you will know how to build test items and how to make sure that it is valid, okay? It is supposed to measure what it is supposed to measure, okay? And then it also needs to be fair, not discriminating anybody, all right? And also, it should be very transparent, okay? So processes and documentation, including assessment, briefing, and marking criteria are clear. How many of us actually provide the marking criteria to our students? Maybe you say, at my level, I don't think that is important. After all, they are in the primary school. They won't understand if I give the marking criteria. Or maybe in the secondary school, they're still young, they don't know what it means. Do you think they should know at least what they are being assessed? Yes. Doesn't matter year one, as simple as teacher is going to see if you can draw a cat. It's okay. Teacher just want to see if you can draw a cat with a tail. Okay. Teachers just want to see if you can spell, at least whether it's a K or a C, whether you can spell cat correctly, because some of them may put the KAT, all right, or CAT, chat, okay, pronunciation. Okay? So make it very transparent. Okay? Reliable. Okay? Assessment is accurate, consistent, and repeatable. When we talk about reliable, whether it is reliable or not, okay, valid or not, very, very important. Okay? Quite often, as simple as giving them questions in the classroom and then answering, quite number of time we see that answers are provided by the teacher. Why? So that, to show that the students get the answers correct. Is that important? For them to get everything correct? Or to know which questions they get wrong? Something to think about in the classroom. Okay? Feasible. Okay? Of course, it's practical in terms of time, resources. Okay? I think you will go through this during the workshop. Educational impact. Assessment results in learning what is important and is authentic and worthwhile. Okay, you have the term authentic there, reliable, valid. So I think you know where I'm going to get at, all right? Assessment requiring students to use the same competency or combinations of knowledge, skills, and attitudes that they need to apply in the criterion situation in professional life. We are moving away from the traditional method of assessment to more authentic, so that they can apply what they have learned in real life situation. Okay? So what kind of assessment would that be? Okay? Assessment should also mirror the complexity, collaboration, and high-level thinking that is necessary in the most intellectual or professional problem-solving and decision-making that impose more complex intellectual demand on students and elaborated communication. Okay. So what type of assessment do we normally give in the classroom? Is it higher order thinking skills? Or is it something that is easy for them to straight away give you the answer and they got it? Do we allow our students to think in the classroom? Okay. Something for you to think about. Okay. In IPG, we were always not to say reprimanded, we always recycle the same slides, okay? So you're teaching the same course over and over again, we end up recycling the same slide. So what happens when you recycle the same old thing? After 1-2 years, what happens? Okay. The information in the slides will no longer be valid. Okay. It will be obsolete. Especially when it comes to assessment. If we stick on to the fact that assessment should stay the same as how I was taught when I was young, all right, then I'm not going anywhere with my students. Because we as teachers, we need to change. We have to embrace change. But how many of us are willing to change? Okay? We still do have teachers who have taught more than 20 years, 30 years, who still feel being in the comfort zone. All right, you're familiar with this term. I've eaten more salt than you, so I should know better. Okay? I don't know why salt is the one that is being used. Why not sugar? Because now quite a number of people are getting diabetic, right? Salt not so bad, high blood pressure. Okay, so we tend to take more sugar than salt, I think. All right. So why? Why we are so much in the comfort zone and we are not willing to change? Because it's much more easier for us. But our surroundings are changing. Students are changing. No longer can you scold your students in the class. What will happen? They will answer you back. Okay? So you need to use the psychology, whatever it is, you need to be the counselor. No longer the teacher, but the counselor. Right? Facilitator. That's the term used now for teachers. Huh? No more the term teachers being used, but counselor, facilitator, mentor. Okay? These are the terms that is being used now. All right? Okay. Transferability, whether learners are able to use their learning in real context. This is what we are aiming for. Okay. Traditional method does not work. That means formative assessment would be the one that we are looking at now. Okay. Why formative assessment? Assessment for learning That means we want them to master, acquire knowledge, skills, attitude, behavior, in order for them to apply in the real world. Okay. So my mom forced me, okay. Remember the letters, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At that point of time, I didn't know. I was thinking why the numbers should come with a tin. T-I-N, tin. All right. Later, okay, in school, then when I saw the spelling, I realized, oh, that's tin. 14, 15, 16, 17. I recall what my mother did to me. I said, wow, that's it. And also the tables, 2 times 2, 4, 3 times 2, 6. She forced me to memorize all those things. Okay? Of course, maths was not my favorite subject at that point of time, but it did help me later on. Okay? English was not my favorite subject at that point of time. Okay? But I have no idea how I ended up becoming an English teacher. No idea how. I was not interested in anything at that point of time. I thought I would become a BM teacher. But then, this is where I am. We never know the future, right? But no regret what I went through in my childhood. I should thank my mother for it. Okay? So the assessment started way back at home for me. Okay? So when you transfer, okay, that is very, very important. Whatever that you teach them, they need to be able to apply it in the real world. Okay? And it has to be meaningful. Creating or regurgitating. Okay? Meaningful learning requires students, okay, to reach that creating level. Bloom's taxonomy C6. Okay? We're not expecting them to be great innovators. Yeah? As simple as, okay, I understood. Okay? I can apply this. Okay? Rather than memorizing and giving you the same answer over and over again. Okay? That is not what we want in our students. Okay? And I'm sure like when we sit for the exam, okay, those days, examination is so simple, so easy to pass, right? You memorize, just like memorizing history and all that, you can score 100%. But today, things are changing, things are different. Okay? Just like the CPT exam. Okay? APTIS, any one of you sat for APTIS? Easy to score? Okay, silent. Okay. See, don't bring us there. Okay, this is something I want you to ponder. Okay, assuming we have 2 students here, okay, they are teenagers. One who scored 90, the other one 89. Okay. Obviously, the one with 90 looks happy, but the one with 89 is not happy. So what is the difference between 90 and 89? Score difference of 1 mark, yes, like my 88. If only they had given me the extra 2. I would be in ELTC, maybe they would have invited me, to train you all. Just because of that 2 marks. So what is the difference here? Is the one with 90 better compared to the one with 89? What do you think? Wow. So how do you differentiate? How do we say that the person who scored 90 is better than the one who scored 89? Okay. Why did she score 90? Okay. Just mere putting the scores on the paper is not going to help the candidate. Okay? It's not going to help the student. This girl with a smiley face said, I am the best of the best of the best, because she scored the highest. The one with 89, just like me, short of 1 mark. Why me? Why not her? Why not anybody else? Why me? I lost my 5,000. Okay. Sorry? Enjoy the 3,000. No, we were not paid. We are not allowed to be paid. You all did benefit. All right? That's the next point. Why? Why didn't they give us? that 3,000 or 5,000? Why did you get it? We always like to compare, right? Just like the marks, we tend to compare. We tend to compare. The one with 90 would be lucky. She was just lucky to get 90. The one with 89 would have worked very hard. Okay, she just missed 1 mark. But then we cannot judge. We cannot judge them. So imagine when we look at scores, these things are happening, all right? So summative assessment, yes, they do make judgment. But with formative assessment, you are not supposed to judge your students. You are just looking at their level, their capability, where they stand and what is lacking in them. That is formative assessment. That's why we are coming into classroom-based assessment. Why is that being highlighted over and over again and you are here today, tomorrow and day after, looking at classroom-based assessment? Okay? So when you talk about tests, like just now it vary in quality, labels a child, like how CPT labeled me, damaged self-esteem. Self-esteem, yes. Okay? Decreases motivation. Yes, it did to me. Okay. Encourages development of a single ability. You're only looking at one ability of the child. You're not looking at other abilities. Okay. The child might not be good in maths, for example, but she may be good in other subjects. She might be good in dancing. She might be good in art. Okay. Does that matter? It does. Not everybody are born to become teachers. Not everybody are born to become English teachers. Okay? Assessor assume control of the educational curriculum. Okay? Like what I was thinking. Okay? So marks matters, therefore my favorite students would be the students who did very well in the examination. Okay? Don't look at me like that. I know you are doing it. I can guarantee you are doing it. Now you're thinking, well, who is my best student in the class? Yeah, okay, I told him or her to do this and that while I'm here attending this course. You know, I know she or he will be able to do it. Yes. Okay. All right. So in a nutshell here, tests enable teachers to focus on their teaching. Yes. All right. Narrow the scope of the subject matter taught and lead to negative feelings regarding the publication of test scores, and will do whatever is necessary to avoid low scores. Okay? We have heard of many cases, okay, where because the school principal wants, okay, the school to achieve band 3 or 4 or whatever it is, therefore you have to achieve that. All right? But what is happening is that actual learning is not taking place in the school, within the students. Okay? So how do we address this? Okay? How do we go about addressing this? Okay? School doesn't test your intelligence, it tests your memory. If you're so much focused in tests. Okay? So coming back, okay, all right. Which system should our school use? Is it pass, fail, or letter grades? I am in favor of pass or fail. Okay? Not letter grading them. Okay? Then there are many ways of assessing students. Okay? Doesn't have to be numbers. It does not have to be numbers. Okay? So a shift in assessment has taken place, is taking place in the form of formative assessment, okay? Which links to your classroom-based assessment. It is an approach to guide students towards development of their own learning to learn skills that are increasingly necessary as knowledge is quickly outdated in the information society. Okay? Tomorrow, you're going to see some of the new innovation, okay, some of the best practices, okay, shared by other teachers, other educators. Next week, it will become obsolete. New technology is going to come out, new innovation will be out, and then you think, oh my, I didn't know. Or you may be inspired to innovate something. You never know. Okay? Next year, you'll be standing here. Okay? And I'll be sitting there listening to you and say, oh my God, I didn't know. Okay? So this is what's happening. All right? Okay. Assessment for learning or formative, yeah, is important in teaching and learning. Share learning goals with the learners. That's what it is emphasizing on. Help learners to know and recognize the standards they are aiming for. Involves learners in self-assessment. Self-assessment is the in thing now. Okay? You'll be wondering, why are we asking our students to assess themselves? Okay? Aren't we giving autonomy to our students? We are talking so much about teachers must be given autonomy, but when it comes to assessment, students too can assess themselves. Okay? Give them the chance. Let's see what they are capable of. They might think that they are very good. Okay? 10 questions, the child scores 2 out of 10. Okay? And you ask them, okay, please rate yourself. Very good, good, bad, worse. And they will say, very good, 2 out of 10. And you will look at that person, excuse me, 2? You only got 2 correct answers and you say very good? Then they say, teacher, I'm very happy. First time I got the score, 2 marks out of 10. From year 1 to year 3, never. Saya sangat gembira, 2. Okay? To them, that's wow. To you, Okay? All right? So it makes a great difference. Let them assess themselves and see. Okay? And ask why. So you'll be very impressed with the answers. Okay? Provide feedback. Learners recognize their next step. This is the most important thing that I am highlighting. Feedback by the teacher is very, very important. That's why we are moving on to classroom-based assessment. Okay? This is the part we always fail to see, or fail to provide. Thank you. I was looking there thinking, where's the timekeeper? Okay? Why? Feedback. At least they will know where they have gone wrong. If only the person who came up with CPT had informed me why I did not get that extra 2 marks, I would have worked harder and sat for the same test again. Okay. Where did I go wrong? Okay. I wouldn't be disappointed until today. Okay? Review and reflect on assessment data. For you, assessment is looking at the data. Why data is very important. Okay? Not to label the child, but to look at your own teaching and learning, to look at where the students are, where they are standing right now, and what you need to do in order to help them improve their learning. Okay? It's a simple, basic thing. Okay? It's not I'm not saying something that is not heard of or not in the book. It's simple, basic thing. It's just that we need to revisit to look at our own self, what we have been doing in the classroom. Okay? When I was asked to talk to you here, and I look at all those list of schedules for tomorrow and day after, I was thinking I have nothing to say. Because each one of them is showcasing something, that they have gone through, they have innovated, and they are sharing it with you. Okay? So when you go there, they are so honored to see you in that room with them and listening to them, sharing their ideas. All right? Acknowledge them. I say, thank you very much. Because that's an honor. Because they have done something. Maybe to you, okay, I have used that, alamak. This is not something new. Lah. I've been using this for the past 5 years. What is so new about this strategy? Okay. But you may get ideas when you go to all these sessions. You may get something. And out of that something, you may create something great. Okay? Okay. Tests are not a destiny. They are just signposts on the road. Some can be warning, some merely informative and entertaining. Okay? This is not the ultimate. When you look at assessment, that is not the end. Okay? The end of everything. Have you read reports, newspapers, talking about how year 6 student committed suicide, secondary school students committing suicide just because of test results? Okay, why? Why did they go through all these things? Why were they being pressured? Okay, because society is looking at assessment as something the ultimate. It is not the end. Okay? If you have gone through, just Google and see, Einstein was not the best student in the class, and I think one of the president, Roosevelt, I think he was not the best student in the class, but they became famous. They became very famous. Okay? All right. Points to note, all assessment should be conceptualized as assessment for learning. This is my take. And feedback is very, very essential, okay, in assessment. Okay? So the need for changing ideas about the function of assessment in teacher education, that is very, very necessary. And it should be used during the learning process as assessment for learning. That is happening in the classroom. Okay? And assessment is used to diagnose the current level of competence and to give feedback on this current performance in order to stimulate further development towards becoming a professional teacher, because that is also assessing you and also for the betterment of the students. Okay? All right. It is a very delicate issue. When you look at assessment, it is a very delicate issue. Many important educational decisions are based on assessment outcome, definitely, okay? And schools should inspire, not expire learners' intelligence, okay? So you need to work on this. It's all in your hands to inspire your students. So do not use the second term, expire their intelligence, okay? First I put expire learners. I said that sounds different, okay? We are not going to kill the students, but expire their intelligence, okay? So effective assessment, in a nutshell, requires transparency between you and your students. What are you assessing them? What are you looking for? They need to know. Feedback, I mentioned this to you. One that supports curriculum, not dominate the curriculum. Curriculum, this is my personal opinion, I'm seeing it as a tool. Okay? This is something that you need to use as a guide, okay, but not, okay, for the sake of the curriculum, you are forcing on something else to your students. Okay? As long as you achieve the objective that you want, that's it. To educate and improve student performance, not to audit it. Don't audit. Okay? We are not auditors. And more varied mode of assessment is required, which you will go through, okay? And as authentic as possible. Okay? That is important. And instructions, teachers should be able to choose, design, and evaluate valid assessment for positive effects on learning and teaching. Okay? And interpretation of test result and ways to communicate test result to stakeholders. Keeping those data is not just enough, but you need to inform various stakeholders what is happening, all right? And almost ending there, what is needed for a productive assessment to take place? It should be live, now, happening in the classroom, okay? Minute by minute, day by day. Assessment happens all the time. It's not something that you have to think very hard. What am I going to do in the classroom? You need to plan, yes, but as you're going on teaching in your classroom, it goes automatically. Student asking you a question, some form of assessment is taking place. You are answering, you are asking, you're making them to do something, all right? That is happening day by day. And I propose backward design, meaning when you are in the classroom, identify your goals first, okay? Assessment, determine acceptable evidence. What do you want to see that will show you the students know what you want them to know? So think of the type of assessment that will be very suitable for your students. Okay? And finally, instruction. Plan your learning experiences. Okay? So I would end, because I only have less than 5 minutes, I would end with this video, a very interesting video which I found that for your own entertainment. Thank you.
One of Abbott Elementary's finest.